Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and in today's video we're doing the Shrine of Secrets review for the 3rd of August 2022. I have been enamored by a spider trying to wrap up an insect for about 5 minutes now. It's like a kind of centipede thing, I think. It's got it webbed up currently and it's trying to drag it around. It's actually moving it right now. So yeah, I've literally been watching that and it's amazing. But anyway, we're here for the Shrine. I'm going to try and take my eyes off it. It's really fascinating. First of all, we have Franklin's Demise, which is a cannibal perk, and this one has it so when you hit a survivor, they drop their items, and if they don't go back and pick it up within a certain amount of time, then it'll lose all its charges, basically. I talk about this one a lot because they love to bring it out. Basically, this one's just good if you have a lobby full of items. It doesn't really matter what items, because the point is that they will go back for their precious items, and that will make them waste time. That's time not on gens. And, you know, it's kind of like, I don't know. It kind of reminds me of like a reverse bear trap where you have to go and take it off in a certain amount of time. It's sort of like that, obviously not as lethal, but the point is that, you know, it makes them waste their time and stop doing objectives. So, it's good. It's good at what it does. Next up, we have Hex Blood Favor, which is a blight perk, and this one is pretty underrated in my opinion. I used to on quite a lot of killers. This is a Hex perk, so it's attached to a totem. But this one has, so, injuring a survivor will cause the entity to block pallets around you, and also means, but basically when it blocks it, it means you can't pull them down. They're basically stuck, and this applies to any survivors in the radius. So means like people can't get pallet saves, people can't stun you, anything like that. Basically, it's just, you know, it's just blocking pallets really. This one's pretty underrated, I think, because oh my god, it's got in its web. Wow. I'm sorry, it just pulled it off the ground. That's crazy. Anyway, yes, this one is just good because it applies to any survivor, and it's really good for killers who have weak chase game, like Wraith, Onryo recently, I think Blight himself, even though Blight is pretty powerful anyway, so it's not too bad on him, I guess, but, you know, it's just those kind of killers who are just M1 a lot and really weak and things like that, and this is just a good one. Obviously it's a hex, so keep in mind it can't be broken, but other than that, it's, you know, it just does what it says. Next up we have Corrective Action, which is a Jonah perk, and I'm pretty sure this one hasn't been on the Shrine before. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't really know if it has or not. This one has, so you start the trial with a certain amount of tokens. I think it's free, and you can gain a token for every great skill check you hit. And basically, when you're on a gen with someone and they fail a skill check, it will basically not really count. Their failed skill check will become a good skill check, and they can keep on repairing the generator, and you can get tokens back. So this one I think is good for like beginners, because this one will help, you know, it will benefit you getting good skill checks, and I guess it's good for those survivors who might not be, you know, they might be new as well, which is fine obviously, but I just think it's a bit too situational like that, because unless you are at the lower ranks, well, not ranks, they don't do that now, but you know what I mean, like if you're newer and things like that, you're obviously going to be being put with people who are also newer, and obviously they might not be great at hitting skill checks either, unless maybe the only way I could see this really working like with experienced players is if they have things like Merciless Storm or a skill check build. But even that means you have to be on the gen with them. This does not apply to yourself. This is only for teammates who are doing gens with you. And, you know, like I said, I think it is good for newer players and working with newer players. But other than that, I don't really think... I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't think I've ever used this perk, actually. But I just think it's meant to be for that. Meant to be for like learning skill checks and helping teammates with failing skill checks. I don't really see too much value of it being for experienced players. I don't know. It's hard to comment on this one because like it is good, I suppose, but like yeah, it doesn't apply to you. Just remember that it does not apply to you. And finally, we have another good beginner perk. Actually, we have Technician, which is a Feng perk, and this works very similarly. This one has so the noises caused by your repairs and their hearing range are reduced by 8 meters. That part I think is underrated because killers at a certain radius of a gen can hear if someone is on them. Obviously, they can see from afar the generator, but they won't be able to tell if someone is working on it unless they're in a certain range. So that part actually is pretty underrated and is actually pretty good. But the main thing is that on a failed repair skill check, the following effects happen, which is a generator explosion being prevented. The generator loses progress as usual, and it does lose additional progress. So even though this one will basically hide the fact that you missed a skill check, you'll still lose progress and a bit more because it's like a good for a bad thing. You know what I mean? So the killer doesn't find out where you are, but you lose a bit more progress. It's only 3% at tier 3, so I guess it's not that bad. But I think it's just better to be on the safe side, I guess. Again, I feel like you can actually use this one with corrective action because they both center around skill checks. But again, I will say I think this is going to be more beneficial for newer players, which again is totally fine. I'm just saying. And I think this is just to help you learn skill checks and kind of ease you into it and be like, don't worry about messing up. You know, we've got you covered on that. But after a while, you'll be fine with skill checks. They're pretty easy anyway. So you really won't need these anymore. It is mainly just for that early process, I think, because other than that, I don't really see why you would use this or corrective action, personally. But, you know, again, it's good. They're good. They're solid beginner perks, actually. I just don't think after that they have much value to anyone in general, really. So I'm not too sure. If I had to say one to buy, I'd probably say Blood Favor, actually. Because I just think this one's pretty underrated. It's kind of unexpected as well. It usually gives survivors a bit of a startle when they realize they can't throw down their pallets. The only thing is that it's a hex, so this has a chance of being destroyed within 30 seconds and then doing nothing for you. So keep that in mind. Maybe combine this with like Undying or something to make it last a bit. Franklin's as well, just because items, you know, medkits these days are powerful and really popular. But again, this is for any item. It doesn't really matter if it's survive friends or solos because it still does that. And it's still a good effect. And it's still good because survivors every single time will find a way to go back for their items. And the less time on gens, the better time for you, I guess. So guys, that'll do it from me. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you found this useful. And I'll see you in the next one.